Hello, I'm rizky febrianto, student in Mechanical Engineering 11 Maret University, Indonesia. I'm proud to be here to present my research in ICIMECE 2021. I want to talk about my research about application of fluid structure interaction in ship design, calculation review on hull structure. This is my chapter for my research. Chapter 1 Introduction. Fluid structure interaction, or FSI, is the interaction between solid objects that are submerged in fluid or surrounded by fluid. FSI consists of two areas of the solution, namely fluid and structure. In the FSI, there will be event where the elastic solid structure interaction with the fluid flow will experience pressure, which can cause deformation of the structure. And then, when the ship sails, the ship structure will constantly flex and the loading experienced by the ship is not static or quasi-static. Therefore, it experiences a continued dynamic interaction between fluid action and response hull around the ship structure, which is called fluid structure interaction. This study focuses on metaphysical simulation method for typical passenger ship disaster scenario, showing the FSI model approach for the ship collision event or aground. FSI is used to simulate composite ship structure using finite element analysis. Ship structure in marine application made composite material are superior and have potential because of their superior corrosion resistance and increased impact strength as well as their lightweight. Ships that use composite structure get more attention than ships that use conventional. This is because they have high performance. Using finite element analysis and fluid structure interaction, this paper model and simulate the whole ship hull structure. Based on research conducted by Ma, for hull construction, a composite sandwich plate is used instead of standard steel plate. Due it is high rigidity and strength, carbon or epoxy laminate was used as the sandwich face sheet material since it can bear wave and blast loads. The analysis was carried out of fluid loading which corresponded to C condition of 5. Most deformation and strain are detected in the central section and on the hull. The core skin face near the girder is most vulnerable zone in the sandwich plate structure. According to stress analysis, shear stress in the laminar is roughly 27% greater than shear stress in the core. And then chapter 3 is FSI impact load on the plastic elastic set of the shape. Due the loss of shape due to accident and run aground in recent decade, ship using double hull are become increasingly popular in maritime sector. Many research have recently been dedicated to be combined assessment of ship collision incident, interior dynamic and interior mechanic. As a result, the primary goal of the research is to gain better knowledge of fluid tank collision problem by studying horizontal wedge colliding with a fluid tank using a numerical model. And then the study also discussed the effect of water level and impact speed on the dynamic of water tank pressure plate structure. In this picture, display the exact dimension of experimental setup as well as the impact design on wedge plate. The influence of fluid motion on the dynamic behavior of fluid tank heat plate when subject to wedge impact has been well recognized in this study. The fluid motion will be converted into dimension and will be active plate contact by part structural dynamic response. Its effect on the structural dynamic response of the stuck plate can be overestimated because does not take into account three-dimensional effect. In chapter 4 is FSI for ship subject collision. When a ship sails, it can be exposed to various accidents, for example, the common or collision, fire, and run aground. The impact of strongly coupled FSE effect on dynamic response of ship involved in collision and then ground, which the typical simulation in this article. The figure shows unique multiphasic approach for analyzing response to structural dynamic and consequently the structure ship involved in collision and aground. The technique is three sections: wet analysis in still water, dry structural modeling, FSE model and analysis, and then the factor examined the collision scenario where speed, displacement, position, and angle. Based on the research by Kim, which is a first research for collision using a RAS CFD model. This method combines the hydrodynamic method with explained 6DOF structural dynamic finite element scheme to calculate A. The hydrodynamic action of the 6DOF flow potential, B. The effect of hydrodynamic drag, C. The effect of speed of the evasive vessel in case contact. And then the most significant element determine the degree damage during collision or grounding occurrence in the source velocity of the hitting or ground ship. In the graph, hydrodynamic simulation cap on ship structure collision. In A is collision, in B in grounding. Because the effect of hydrodynamic restoring force, multiphasic simulation for typical passenger ship disaster scenario indicate that appropriate FSI model may be important for either collision or grounding occurrence. Next, second research for collision is conducted by Song. FSI on ship collision by taking approach that is the movement of the ship calculated in parallel with the deformation of the structure, that is by combining internal mechanic and external dynamic. The damage to be impact ship was heavily influenced by the crash angle. In the current collision situation, the worst collision angle was found to be 120 degrees. In this paper by Song, collision between two ships are simulated numerical variant using fully coupled method. In example, ILA FSI technique by LS Dayana, as shown in the graph, and the left case 1 and the right case 2. The exact velocity of both hitting the damaged ship before the impact requires access structure damage more accurately. The damage to impact ship was heavily influenced by the crash angle. Next, this is the other remarks of FSI technique in marine-based design. The best ship beside the ship hull application, the FSI technical analysis wide enough to cover structure and design in marine engineering. Several work are summarized present in table, which indicate that in early 2010, FSA has been considered as technique to solve engineering problem in aerospace and offshore structure. And in the last conclusion, this study has been several conclusions, including enhanced integrated finite element counting tool for design ship structure, made of sandwich composite having multiple hull. And then in ship structure analysis, FSC model connect to CFD with finite element structure code in two-way coupling. This fluid motion is simplified to dimension, activated by dynamic structural response and set plate contact part with the indenter. The FSA effect, which is linked by hydrodynamic recovery force, may have less influence on structural dynamic response. Then, thank you for your attention and see you.